What is going on? You're listening to the Nintendo Powercast episode 160. I'm your host, N64 Josh, player 2, NintenJoe98. What's going on, man?
Hey Josh, it's great to be here. How you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing awesome. I'm doing awesome. I'm stoked to do more of these interview shows. But before we get started, guys, that music you just heard was from On Being Human. You can check them out on Spotify and YouTube. Remember, this is an unofficial Nintendo podcast. And if you'd like to get yourself a free book from Audible, go to audibletrial.com/NPC. Pick up something awesome like Console Wars, Ready Player One. The chair I'm sitting in is from OP Seat. Go to n64josh.com/OP Seat. You automatically save $10 at checkout. I love these chairs. I cannot recommend them enough. Lastly, if you want to get yourself an extra show, you can go to patreon.com/N64Josh. For just $1, you get a Q&A show. That's, the questions you ask and I answer them. So it's a good time. So you can check that out at patreon.com/N64Josh. With that, we're going to get to our announcements.
Hey, listen.
All right. Well, as you guys can see or hear, there's more NPC on the way. We are going to start incorporating way more interview shows as well as our news shows so that you just get more NPC all the time. Okay? So that's kind of the goal for this year. I'm just going to become a madman and start putting out as many podcasts as humanly possible. So that's going on. We got some fun stuff happening in the Discord. We got a weekly Mario Golf tournament going on the 3DS. We got weekly Mario Kart tournament going on the Switch. We have a Smash Bros tournament. Happens next Saturday, this coming Saturday, the second Saturday of each month. That's our Smash Bros tournament. First prize is a $20 eShop card, second prize a $10, and third prize a $5 eShop card. So all the information for that is gonna be in the Discord, which you can find by going to n64josh.com/Discord. Our typical shows happen Tuesday, Thursday, 6:30 on Tuesdays, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time Tuesdays, and 4:30 on Thursdays. These interview shows are just going to be whenever. But I'm going to do them live whenever possible, so it'll be on twitch.tv/N64Josh. I'm streaming every weekday starting at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We got the Smash Bros. Cast at 2 on Fridays. First looks are happening on Friday mornings. A lot of stuff going on, guys. It's going to be an amazing year. An amazing year. So with that, we're going to get to our guest, NintenJoe98.
Here we go.
All right. So NintenJoe, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm great, Josh. I'm awesome. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. Yeah, man. So we're gonna get to know you. We're gonna get to know your history with Nintendo. So let's talk about where it started. What's your favorite console? Where did it all start? That kind of stuff. Just take it away. So for me, I think my first entrance into any gaming system was the Super Nintendo. It was at my uncle's house. So my uncle was only 3 years older than me, and we were both pretty young at the time. So I think I don't know. I think I must have been about 4. He'd have been as 3 years older, and he had this amazing system, the Super Nintendo, with Super Mario World, and that game, the colors, the different levels, Yoshi.
Yes.
That game blew everything out of my mind. And I'd seen games before. My gran, I think, had bought an Atari system, so when I go around her house, I play a bit. But I wouldn't really say that was an introduction to games. They didn't really get me wanting to playing more. But that Super Nintendo, I'll never forget it. And the Super Scope, we had so much fun with Dark Car Man. Impossible to use, but I loved it. Just going around the house, playing to shoot each other. I mean, it was so much fun. So yeah, for me, it was that Super Nintendo. So now it comes to Christmas. I'm so excited to get the Super Nintendo. I see the box, and I open it up, and it's a Mega Drive.
No.
And yeah, so I mean, my mum and dad, they said that the Super Nintendo was at my uncle's house. So if I got the Mega Drive, then we could both play different systems, which would have been, that's awesome. And I mean, I wasn't ungrateful. I love that Mega Drive. And I was a huge fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog cartoons. And so I think that's where they sort of got the idea to get me a Mega Drive. Mm-hmm. And downside to that, apparently Sonic would be too hard for me. It'd be too fast. So instead I got Mickey's Castle of Illusion, which was a great game for the time. I really enjoyed that game, Mickey's Castle of Illusion. So So I'd go over to my uncle's house and I'd play these games, and we'd go to Blockbuster and we'd rent different ones. So you would play Star Fox, Super Mario Kart. That Super Nintendo, there was just nothing as nostalgic to me as that games console.
Yeah.
And yet I never owned one until I put it up on my Instagram probably about 3 or 4 months ago. I found one at a car boot sale. So that's what we call a yard sale.
Yep.
In the UK. Do you guys have car boot sales?
We have yard sales,
Yeah. So so that's where I first got my own Super Nintendo. But my first own Nintendo console, that was the N64. So what happened is my parents, do you remember that video? I mean, we all know the video.
I want to stop you real quick because I want to hear a few little more details about the Super Nintendo that you found. Like, were you freaking out? Were you freaking out when you?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, this guy, I've been desperate for a Super Nintendo. I've been going to yard sales week on week. It was like a religious thing for me. I had to go every Sunday morning. I got my poor fiance up. We're up there 5 a.m., 6 a.m. going. And I'm not hitting one. I'm hitting, every single one that is open that day that I can drive to in opening times. We were going. And she was amazing. She was really helpful with that. But I'd find little bits. There's a lot of McDonald's toys, the McDonald's Nintendo toys. You get a lot of those. So I buy anything that has a Nintendo themed when I'm there. I think I'd picked up a Game Boy, and that was the closest I'd got to a system. And then that Super Nintendo when I walked past. And do you know what, Josh? It wasn't just a Super Nintendo. It was an N64 as well. So you had a Super Nintendo, an N64. I'd say there was probably about 20 to 30 games. Jet Force Gemini for the N64, which I never owned.
Yep.
So it was great to get that in my collection. A ton of duplicates. So GoldenEye, Super Mario 64, Star Fox. There was a ton of N64 and Nintendo 64 games. But right next to it, sort of hidden a little bit, was the Super Nintendo. I was just, And they had Star Fox with it. What else had? Super Mario Super Circuit. I think there was a Castlevania in there. It was just insane, the sort of games they had.
Yes.
I was so happy. And so I was trying not to shake. Do you ever get this? If you see a massive good deal, you're like, I'm going to find out the price. But I don't want him to know that I know what it's supposed to be worth. And I'm not going to rip this poor guy off. But I need to make sure that I'm getting a good deal out of it too. So what he wanted for all of this, like I said, there was so many games. In my head, I'm valuing this thing around £300 UK, just for the amount that he had there. And so I say to him, so how much are you looking for? And he said, I'd like £75. I said, for which one? And he said, for everything. And so I in my pocket, I had a £5. So I said, look, here's £5. If you would hold this for me, I'll go and get you the rest of the money. And I swear I have never driven so fast in my life to the closest cash point. I was dreading someone was going to pick this up. Yeah. And ever since, that guy's got my number now, and he'll ring me up. He's like, I've got a Master System. I've got this. It's like, that's great. So I try and pass it on, but he hasn't had any more Nintendo. But that's my best find so far at a garage sale. Yeah,
we had last summer or 2 summers ago. I was striking out of nothing. It's hard to find. The Nintendo stuff, especially the older stuff. Like you just don't see it. You see PlayStation 1 titles. You might see some Wii stuff periodically. But I pulled up on one, and this was the best kind of, because you don't feel bad when you pay way less than you should have, because the lady was like $5 if you take all, like if you give me $5, it's all yours. Like, she just wanted it out. To her, it was just garbage. The next step for this stuff was straight in the trash can. So I'm talking like 30 Game Boy games, like probably 6 or 7 Game Boys plus DS's, and like an e-reader, like the e-card reader.
No way.
Yeah, she's, so by the time I had it all said and done, it was like, okay, 5 for this box, 10 for that box, and like, $20 later, I left with, I don't even know the exact value of everything.
It's dangerous, right?
Yeah, but I was like, look, she's gonna throw this away, so I'm all about it, like this is like pure gold to me.
But it is. That's the thing. And Yeah, they can see it in your eyes, I'm sure. They can see it.
Yeah, so okay, so then you got your 64. You said that was your first.
So and it was really sweet. So there was no games, and so I opened it, and like I said, do you remember the N64 kid that we all have seen? Oh man, you should get him on the show. Find him. You know the YouTube video? He opens it up and goes crazy. Dude, N64.
It's kind of a goal for this year. I'm not even like I'm like I bet you with the power of the internet we can find this. If we can find him,
please do it. But I was like that. I was so excited. Finally, my own Nintendo 64. No games, and then I hear a banging upstairs, and it's like, oh, Santa must have left you something else. So I run up, rip into Super Mario 64. Now my life changed forever. I have never, well, maybe Final Fantasy 7, but yeah, that was supposed to be on Nintendo. I never have I spent so much time on it. Than I have with Super Mario 64. And do you know what? I never 100%ed that game until about 3-4 years ago. There was always one star that I could never figure out where it was or what to do. And I think that was a really good journey for me, just finishing it off, finally getting over that. So yeah, I had Super Mario 64 late.
Same here. I did it last year. It was the first time I finished that game.
That's awesome, man.
Last year.
Well, yeah. There's certain games we'll get to that. I mean, right. I guess that part of that you get when games get so built up. There's this anxiety that if you play that, it's not going to live up to your expectations. There's certain games that you just want to play so much, but everyone's like, "Oh, this game's incredible," and you don't want it to ruin your love for a franchise. And it's sort of like when you were talking to the last guy you had on there. What was his name again?
The retro game collector, yeah, old school retro game collector, yeah.
And when he was talking, when you were talking to him, and you were saying, "Well, yeah, controls are a bit janky, and the camera could be better," and it's like if you'd have played it at the time,
it's
different, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it was revolutionary at the time, but then you play Odyssey, and then you go and play, or you play Galaxy. I mean, I love the Galaxy games, right? Even though I don't love controlling them with the nunchuck and the Wii remote, but there were times that I would make a jump that I would just complete I would be this close to touching a star. And because the camera angle wasn't quite lined up, I would just jump and miss it and fall all the way back to the bottom of the stage. And everybody in my chat is like, "What are you doing? How are you this bad at video games?" I'm like, "It's the camera,"
So Super Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Lilac Wars, so that's Star Fox for us. Lilac Wars. These are all games that, and the Rumble Pack, the large Lilac Wars box. I vividly remember going in and buying that. I don't remember buying PlayStation 1 games. I remember nothing about that. But that Lilac Wars box with the Rumble Pack, and now my controller's going like this.
Oh, yes.
Oh man, that N64 day, those were some of my best gaming years. And those cartridges still to this day, they're like trophies, right? You leave them on your shelf. It's like reminders of the past.
I just wish you could read what they were on the top,
Yeah. Well, that's what the boxes are for, right? Those cardboard boxes they give us, which have all gone squished. Sad times.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that was me, N64. I did go get a PlayStation. I've always been a gamer. I've always loved it. But I got a PlayStation, still played a bit of Mega Drive, bit of Sega until obviously they disappeared. And then after the Wii, so obviously I loved Wii, had so many games for my Wii. I think it was just I was the perfect age for it. I paid about triple the price you're supposed to pay for a Wii because it was that time, and it was there's a local in the UK we have Game. I think they're owned by GameStop now. But what they did is because it was so limited, instead of just selling the Wii console, they would have the Wii and about 10 games for a much higher price, and you had to buy the bundle, otherwise you don't get it. And I got roped into that, but luckily it came with like WarioWare Smooth Moves, a game I would have never played without that bundle, because you see that sort of game on the shelf, it looks a bit daft, but when you play it, I love that game. WarioWare Smooth Moves is one of the greats. Bring back WarioWare for Switch.
Yes, bring it back, please. What about the GameCube, though? Was there a GameCube?
Oh, yeah. That how did I forget the GameCube, man?
You know, it happens. It's all good.
So I think the reason behind me forgetting the GameCube is part of the. So again, it's a recent post I did on Instagram. I try and just push GameCube down. The reason being is that when Wii came out, I traded in pretty much everything that I had on GameCube. Pretty much everything. I thought, oh, well, all these newer games, I don't need Luigi's Mansion anymore. Or I don't need, gosh knows what. But I kept Super Smash Bros. I never got rid of Smash Bros. And I kept Sonic Rush. Was it? No, not Sonic Rush. It was called Sonic Adventure DX. Where is it? Sonic Adventure Battle 2. That's it. I've actually got it here. Right here. The reason being, I thought it was a little funny thing that I'd share with you on this. So in the UK, when this game came out, this is how low, I guess, the game's expectations were at the time. They had an event in London, in one of the biggest London game stores. And if you turned up dressed as a character from Sonic the Hedgehog, you got a copy of the game for free. So what I did a lot of drama when I was a bit younger, and my agency called me up and said, oh, can you come down? You're going to be paid to dress up as a Sonic character. Basically, the company are worried that not enough people are going to rock up and it's going to look stupid. And so the only people that did rock up was about the 15 of us that were hired to look like Sonic. And I'll never forget, I was so happy. I was like, I'm going to get a free game. This is amazing. Yeah, they didn't give us one.
No.
So I had to go to the counter and buy it. But hey, that's one of my GameCube memories right there. And the GameCube controller is still like that controller just feels good, and the shoulder buttons. I think it's amazing. There you go. Oh, that's the one you made, right?
Yeah, I love this thing, dude. Absolutely love it. The black and the white. Like, I totally agree. Other than the D-pad was like a Lucky Charm. It was a little bit small, you know. But I still played some Tony Hawk on that thing, like a lot, you know. And it did all right. It did all right. But yeah, that D-pad is pretty tiny. And I never understood why the C-stick didn't have more of a surface for your thumb.
Right.
I'm like,
well, I guess we had smaller thumbs, no?
Well, maybe that. At least it was a stick this time, unlike the 64 controller that it was just 4 buttons, you know.
Yeah, the 4 buttons was real fun on those first person shoot.
Dude, it was really well something. Yeah, it was. It was backwards, you know. If you tried to go after playing Halo or something, and you go back and play like GoldenEye, and you're like, I can't do this, you know. I did find out recently. I think I've talked about it on here. If you actually put your left hand on the D-pad, it works the same as the yellow buttons, and so you can actually play the old games, the old first-person shooters, exactly how you play a modern shooter. And so it works. I mean, you're still running around with a D-pad, so it's a little odd. But I mean, you do all your looking with the stick in the middle, and then run around with the D-pad. And you can still reach A and B with your thumb. You're just reaching, you know. It takes a little bit of a reach, but it's not bad. So
I think I had that down in gold. That was.
Did you ever play with 2 controllers? You know, you could do a set. You could plug in 2 controllers for one person, and then you'd have 2 sticks. That was
mind blown. Really? You're making that up?
I'm not.
Oh, now I sound stupid.
Yeah, look. If you ever hook up your 64, check it out.
I'm gonna do it after this. I think I have to try that out. The N64 is always hooked up. You've got to keep that bad boy going. Yeah. Plus, the N64 is hooked up because recently I finally got Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that is a fun. Like you said though, going back, the camera and stuff like that. It's hard, but it's worth the slug.
Really, yeah, and I mean, without those games, right? It was the starting point for what we have now. What, you know, for modern 3D games. So I mean, it's all going to be a, you know, I mean, go back to like when I had my uncle on, we were talking about adventure. You know, like that's kind of like a precursor to Zelda. You know, I mean the way the camera is and everything. You know, but Zelda was like leaps and bounds ahead of that game. They were only less than 10 years apart though, you know. So
crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. So what is one of your favorite Nintendo memories? I know we were talking about Sonic and stuff just now. Is there any other, like, just Nintendo maybe setting a high score or beating a game that was super tough, or, you know, playing with a best friend when you were younger, anything like that?
So I rarely beat games when I was younger. I tried so hard.
I rarely beat games now, so you know it's cool, right?
Well, yeah, backlog for years. But yeah, so I rarely really got those. I think at one point I did send a high score into Nintendo official magazine using a Polaroid. Do you remember that? You had to use a Polaroid to do a screen because otherwise it wouldn't work.
Oh yeah.
I sent one in, didn't get that. Hey, I kept trying. I don't know. The thing is, for me, so much of my childhood is Nintendo. So many of my memories are just surrounded by it. I think that's the main thing, is that playing at my granddad's with my uncle, just enjoying that the Super Nintendo. And because I never had it myself, I was so excited to go over there and play these games. Yeah, it was really, really incredible. But I mean, I think even now, like you said, Super Mario Odyssey has brought up so many nostalgic feelings for me. Like when I got the Switch and I got that, it just, everything turned on again. It was like I was 10 again, and that's where I really started pushing my Instagram. Really started trying to take a lot more photos, focus on Nintendo. I mean, I don't know if you've seen, I've got a Triforce on my head. I got a Triforce tattoo. I had to do it, man. Like I love some Zelda. I think that would be it. I think one of my first ever proper girlfriends, and she introduced me to Ocarina of Time. And I remember when that all went Pete Tong, I politely kept hold of that game. I think that might be the copy I still have. It's hers. Probably.
Is it the gold? Is it gold or is it gray?
It is gray. But I'll tell you what, she did take a Harry Potter first edition from my shelf. So yeah. At the time it means nothing, right? No one cared back then. But now I bet she's laughing. I'm sat there with a grey Ocarina of Time cart she's got. I'll take the cart. She can have Harry Potter.
There you go. Okay, so this is kind of fun. I forgot to ask this question yesterday, but this is one of my favorites. What's a Nintendo game that you haven't played or haven't completed that we're all going to judge you for?
No. Okay, so this is why, I don't know if this was before we started recording or in the pre-chat. I mentioned about sometimes you get anxiety over a game because it could be too big or too new, or it could have changed things up a lot. I don't know if you're sort of getting where I'm going with this, but I haven't put in Breath of the Wild yet. I still haven't put it in. I'm so scared. I'm so worried. The hype for this is so unreal. And I'm trying to get the perfect amount of time. I can't have any games coming out. Like, I want to play it right now, but you've got new Super Mario Bros. U coming out in like days. So yeah, I've played pretty much all the big Switch games. I've got a lot of Switch games. I think I'm getting up to close to 90 at this point, and Breath of the Wild just stares at me every day. It stares at me and begs me to play it. And I think that's probably the worst game I could have not played, especially considering I have a Triforce tattooed on my head. So yeah, there you go, Josh. Thanks.
I don't even have words. NPC fam, I want you guys to take pictures of Breath of the Wild, and I want you to tag NintenJoe98 in the Instagram photos. Like, post the photos of Breath of the Wild, maybe some condescending looks, like take some selfies and say, Joe, it's time, Joe.
Do you know what, though? I've managed to avoid all spoilers, so please, I beg you, no spoilers. I know nothing. I do not know anything about that game other than that there's some champions because I've got some amiibo. I've got the books, man. They're shut. They're sealed until that game starts. I pretty much have everything you can get for Breath of the Wild except playing it. Sad times.
You're gonna find out that Ganondorf is Link's father. So, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Yeah, no, I had, yeah. Okay. What are you? See him in the back of my head? I'm like, oh, yeah. No. Skyward Sword said otherwise, the game that no one finished. But yeah.
Yeah, that one I'm not done with that one. So, well, remember, Breath of the Wild didn't even make it into the. It's not even like in the official timeline. Apparently, they're just like, nah.
Yeah, I don't know how that one works.
I think there's somebody.
Again, part of the reason it's scaring me from it. Where does it go? What if I decide I don't like Zelda anymore? That's gonna suck. Like, you can't really go back from that, especially when everyone else loves this game. I think it's that the amount of hours you can put in that game, how big it is just, I find it a bit daunting. And I want to 100% it, and I know that I'm gonna have to no life it, and you know, I like my job, so.
Well, yeah. Maybe just have like your Sunday morning coffee or tea with Zelda. You know, just play Breath of the Wild for an hour or two each Sunday morning, and you know, you could play it for the next 30 years or so, and you might have it 100%ed by.
But that's it. I want it all. I want to play it all in one go.
The problem with that game is when it comes to 100%ing it is there's like 900 Korok seeds. And so it can be done. Plenty of people have done it. Pretty much everybody I know that has done it had to use a guide of some kind, you know, because they're really well hidden and they're everywhere and the place is huge. But man, if you get into any kind of gaming lull, you gotta do it. Like, yeah, you'll thank me.
Yeah. No, yeah. Do you know what, Josh? I think, especially after this conversation and realizing just how ridiculous it all is, I think as soon as we come off, I'm going to chuck it in. I don't think I've got a choice at this stage.
I just want to see the empty wrapper. Like, I see it on your Instagram. I just want to see the case with the empty wrapper next to it. Like,
oh no, it's open, man. It's open. Look, I've got Nendroids. I've got all the stuff. I own it all. I can say, and it's well open. I had to get my Nintendo points, right?
Right, of course.
The gold points.
Yeah, you gotta have that.
Who knows? You have to do that within 2 years, and at this stage, who knows when I'll finally play the game. So.
Oh man. Well, hey, that like we are definitely judging you. So just know that you're being judged, and you know you're probably gonna get some messages, but like, just do it. Just be kind. Guys, be kind. All right.
I just get a message on Instagram. Apologies, your account has been deleted.
Oh my. So, hey, let's talk about your Instagram, because that's kind of like that's the content you make, right? No YouTube right now, no Twitch, nothing like that.
Not at the moment, no.
Just Instagram, which is cool. Like, it's a great platform. So, talk to us about it. Like, when did NintenJoe98 become a thing?
So NintenJoe98, that started, I've always liked Nintendo, so whenever you do a name in a game, it would be NintenJoe, obviously play on Nintendo, if anyone didn't get that. But and then 89, year I'm born, so, and like yourself with the 64, so NintenJoe98, that's how I got to the name.
I was not born in 64, just throwing that out there. Yeah. I just want to make that very clear. I was not born in 64. Go ahead.
And so what I wanted to do is, as I said, the Switch, Odyssey, my love for Nintendo was just getting bigger and bigger. I did a photography degree within which I did a lot of toy photography. I was really into Kid Robot stuff. I don't know if you've ever come across it. It's this vinyl toy designer thing. So Kid Robot, and I was massively into that, so I did loads of photos of that. And then I sort of thought, well, hold on, why can't I bring in my love of gaming into my love of taking photos? So prior to the NintenJoe98, I had my own Instagram account, lots of PlayStation stuff on there, a lot of PS4. And since the day the Switch got into my hands, I've unplugged my PS4 and I haven't played it. I've got Red Dead 2 just sat here again, looking at me sad. But I really just wanted to share my love for Nintendo, and what I found when I went on there is so did so many other people. And there's this massive community right now on Instagram, and it doesn't matter how many followers you have, it doesn't matter you know, really what you create, so long as you're doing the best that you can. Does that make sense? So long as you are putting effort in, and that can be seen. I think if we were all just every day just taking a picture of us holding up a game, I mean, that can be a bit boring. There are those accounts which do incredible, but they've got thousands and thousands of pictures of their huge game collections. And when you've got thousands of games, I don't know how else you could do it. I try and be a bit more creative with my photos. Like yourself, I like to sometimes play on ideas, play on perspective. yeah, I'm just loving it so much. I'm loving the interaction with the community. We're looking at doing some Insta gamer meetups, things like this, and it's just becoming huge. And I love looking at other people's content. It's so addictive, looking at all the different Nintendo photos, things that people are putting up there. There's the huge Nendoroid thing at the moment. There's Instagram pages full of little Marios and little Links, just doing random things like having tea in a cabin. I mean, it's so inventive, so clever, and so cool.
Well, in Nintendo of UK, they repost a lot of those. It seems like
they do. There's a couple of them, and they did invite when Labo came out. A lot of Instagrammers got to go there. Another really, really great Instagrammer that I've been following for a while. He managed to go there. It's NintenJoe98. I don't know if you've come across him yet, but he's amazing. His content is incredible, and he, I believe, is now working alongside Instagram. And what he did is he Curious Herring, I think it was another one, Hillian Crossing, Nintendo Cursey, all these people went to the Labo event. So what Nintendo UK did is they pulled these Instagamers who are focused on Nintendo, and they brought them over and used them to sort of publicize Nintendo. And I think that's incredible. I mean, I'd give anything to work for Nintendo. I guess that's a massive thing with my Instagram. Notice me, Nintendo. Let me come work for you. I'll do anything. But that, and I would love to do a lot more photography in terms of gaming, in terms of advertising, things like that. But for right now, what it's about is being part of that community. It's about sharing what I love, being inventive, and yeah, just an excuse to buy a lot of Nintendos.
No, it's awesome, man. It's great. What, like, for me, Instagram is going to be a huge focus for my brand and everything, because it's one of those things that it's one of the easiest places to put out evergreen content. And you can also, it's more than just taking a photograph, right? Like, you got video, of course, which is something I've been working with more and more, and the tools that are available on your phone. Right. Even the cameras are so good now. I mean, I have professional photography gear, and I take most of my photos with my phone because it's so fast. Right. Because, I mean, time is still valuable to me. So if I can put up a good looking shot that I've edited in Photoshop Express on my phone. Right. And then it goes up on Instagram, and then I can write some long copy if I want to. It doesn't just have to be like, hey, do you like this? And then a bunch of hashtags. Like my last post that I just did of Super Mario Bros. 2, like it was a long piece of copy talking about like kind of my memories with that game and my best friend who passed when we were younger. And that was like, I play through that game once a year, or try to at least, just to kind of keep his memory alive and that kind of stuff. And so you can put stories out there. Like it's such a great platform, and there's just so much interaction. You've got Twitter that's like a lot of noise. You got people that follow 6,000 other people, and it's like you can't see anything. You don't see much. And so how have you been growing your Instagram? Because I would encourage people, like, look, if you're thinking about getting into content creation, the best place to start right now is Instagram, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Because you can take a photo a day. You could take 2 photos a day. You could start building your brand right now with just your phone. You don't have to have the computer. You don't have to, like, you can go live on Instagram. There's a ton you can do with it. So what are some things, like, how do you find out like the right hashtags to use and that kind of stuff, or just to get involved with the community? What's the right way to do it? Because I can tell you real quick, the wrong way is to just follow a bunch of people and then unfollow everybody. It doesn't. Yeah, that's the wrong way. Work. It doesn't work. You want to build relationships. People aren't just numbers; they're people, right? So build those relationships. So what are some things you'd recommend?
So massively is engaging with your own community. So that, what I mean by that is, if sort of have a theme to your page. If that's what you're wanting to do, if you are wanting to create content and promote yourself on the platform of Instagram, you've got obviously people who do personal accounts. So it's me eating my lunch, it's this, it's that. But if like yourself and like me, if you're wanting to promote something like Nintendo, make sure you're gonna follow other Nintendo Instagram, other people, other similar content creators. That's the first thing. It's so not to unfollow, to start following things and people that you like. What that's going to do is going to create a really interesting feed for yourself, and it's going to show you the sort of things that are sort of trending. So like you said, the hashtags, you can start seeing what other people are tagging. You know, there's Ninstagram. That's a huge one right now for myself. And that's something that we in the community sort of created, right? That wasn't there before. I just Nintendo. It's another one. It just, there's all these, so use hashtags that it kind of sounds cheeky, but that other people are using in order to put more content out there. But likewise, hashtag Nintendo, you're going to be lost into a massive nothing. Whereas if you do different hashtags, you are going to, like I said, hashtag Ninstagram, what that's going to do is you're more likely to be seen by other people when they're looking at that hashtag. Or when they type in Nintendo, maybe it's going to pop up a bit more likely.
From my understanding, like when you type in a hashtag, if you're new to this stuff, it's gonna show you how many posts have that hashtag used. Nintendo's is like millions and millions, right? So that's why if you, the whole idea of hashtags, which I don't even know that a lot of people realize, is it's for keywords, right? It's so that you could search hashtag Nintendo and then find all of the photos. That's what it was for when it was being used on Twitter and things like that when it was first. But then what happened is people were doing like hashtag I went out to lunch today, and it's like, no, this isn't like this. So the point of it is to make it so that you show up within certain searches, and then like what Joe is saying, like look for things that have numbers that are under 1 million or under 500,000, because then you're going to be more visible to an audience that might, interact or be able to find, and the beauty of it is you can use up to like 30 hashtags. One of the things I've heard is don't just copy and paste the same ones every time, because Instagram will kick you out of the algorithm, right? All of this stuff is about trying to get found and playing along with the algorithm of Instagram. It's the same for YouTube. It's the same for all that stuff. So you gotta play nice and kind of play by the rules. The algorithm is searching for the closest to organic as possible. So that's why if you're just copy and pasting, they're like, oh, that could be a bot. We're not going to throw it up in the, it's not going to go up in the explore section or whatever.
It's likewise, don't go around liking 1 billion pictures, or like you're saying, friending thousands of accounts hoping that they're going to like you back and then you can just delete them, because that's not going to work. Instagram and other Instagrammers are going to see that, and it's not going to help you at all. It's just not how to use the platform. Likewise, don't take anyone else's photo without crediting it or asking their permission first. I mean, it's something we've seen quite a bit recently. And again, if you see someone else's picture, shout them out. Just be like, hey, don't be rude. Just be like, hey, isn't this one of yours? I did that yesterday to one of my friends, because, and when it is, because this account just pops up. They have, they're following like 1,000 people. They got 10 followers, and then they have all these pictures from nowhere.
Dude,
try and be original with the content, right?
Yeah, exactly. And have fun. That's the other thing. Like, just have fun. Don't look at it as strictly building a brand. No. Like build relationships and let that be what your brand is known for. That's going to pay dividends down the road. Like, depending on how far you take your brand. But it's funny you say, like, don't steal other people's photos. Like, I literally, like, YouTube search, like, how to grow Instagram followers. Just kind of curious on what literally the videos I saw were. Go and look for the most popular photos or videos, copy them, and then you can get some of the viral juice from them. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, that... It's
it will work. I shouldn't say this, but I mean, that will work because people will think that you're the other person. However, you'll get found out and that's it. And you will get found out. You steal from someone. It's stealing. It's someone's intellectual property they've created. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. Don't be a jerk.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a passion project, right?
Yeah, completely. And that's okay. So I think that's it. If you view it as a business, people will see it as that. If you are showing things that, it doesn't matter if you're not showing Nintendo. It could be literally anything. I suggest having a theme to your account. A lot of people like even having a theme to their pictures. I don't know if anyone's noticed on mine, but I now try and have, I recently started integrating pictures of myself. That's something else I'd say is quite important on Instagram. It's so easy to take pictures of a game case or of games all collected together.
But Joe, I always lose followers when my face ends up on my Instagram.
You're wrong. That's not true. No, like putting yourself out there, it does.
Are you seeing my face, Joe?
I don't know what you're talking about, Josh.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. But that's, I mean, that does happen, right? Like you have all these you have all this theme going, and then all of a sudden you put a picture of yourself, and like I'm like, oh my gosh, I lost 10 followers today or whatever. It was like, oh, that's too bad.
Again, though, so what I do,
perhaps the mystery was more exciting.
But no, but when you do that picture of yourself, if it's just, hey, it's me eating a hamburger. Hey, do you know what I mean? No, people are going to not enjoy that. But what I try and do, for example, when I started putting myself out there, was using Nintendo products. So I wear Nintendo t-shirts, things like that. And so it's more within the theme of my account. I'm not going to post a half nude picture of myself with a game controller because no, I'm not going to. Well, I might get some followers, but I guess it might be the wrong kind. Yeah, it's just, oh, maybe I should. If you want me to do that, just maybe hit me up. No. But like you said, the other thing, if you to put yourself out there a bit more, stories. See, stories is where you can put those things of your day. What are you doing? Oh, this is the game I'm playing right now. Stories they're temporary, right? Don't overload. Don't put like 100 stories a day because it's so boring, and then people will unfollow you because they want to see other people's stories. To keep them limited, but put those stories up there. Get yourself out there. Put a bit of you on your Instagram page. I honestly do feel that makes a difference. From pages I've seen, from people I've spoken to, I do think it makes a difference. People want to engage, right? They want to, just like you want to engage, they want to engage with you, and seeing that face, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it does. It does. And my point, even with bringing up like the loss of, like, you just can't worry about that. That's not the point of it. Like, the point of it is just to have fun, express yourself. You get to take photos, you get to take video, you get to tell your story, just have a blast with it. Have a blast. And if you're a streamer, like if you're on Twitch or you're any other kind of content creator, if you're on one other platform, make it Instagram. Right? Because I see so many like Twitch streamers that are like, I'm being consistent and I'm firing my stream up every day. That would be like a television channel saying, hey, we're going to put this show on at the same time every day, but we're never going to air a commercial to let anybody know about it. Right? And in today's world where like if they have an Instagram that says, hey, this show's going to be on, and we've built and TV's not even, TV's such a dying, it's just a dying medium, right? But the point is, your social media can be a commercial for your main content, right? And I say commercial lightly. I'm saying it as a means. A commercial is a way of letting people know that you're there and that you exist. To just fire up a Twitch stream every day, it's not gonna, you're probably not gonna see any growth. You can then share your clips on Instagram, on Twitter, that kind of stuff. It's a place to, just really grow your brand and let people see what you're about. Let them see what they're missing in your Twitch stream. That's where that's gonna happen. It's not gonna happen on Twitch. You're not gonna show up in an algorithm. People aren't gonna probably find you organically. So put some time into that old Instagram,
Yeah, and well, that's it. Like I said, and as you said, it's just having that passion. If you're not passionate about it, if you're trying to do it, if you're trying to make money, no, like there's no money to be made through well, as far as I'm aware, in promoting yourself, yeah, you can start getting partners, things like this. But if you go into it trying to make money, that's daft. Just don't do it. So what I'm personally, I chose Instagram as my initial platform, and I'm trying to grow a base there. I mean, that wasn't something that I originally started out to do, but it's something that I'm now organically doing. So yeah, eventually I do intend to have a YouTube channel. I intend to stream when I play games from now on, because I mean, I play a lot, and it would be fun to engage with people. But I mean, it's daunting, right? There's so many people doing it, and I'll be up against people like you, Josh. It's gonna fail.
Yeah, but it's not competition, right? Like if you put out quality stuff, then you have people that are already ahead of you that are like, hey, go check this guy out. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't view any other streamer as competition, because it's foolish, right? Because what it does, and please don't take any offense to this, but it gives opportunity for excuse that does not belong there. Like excuses don't deserve that power, right? Like they don't deserve that power to say, you don't view anybody as competition, because you have something unique that you're going to bring to the table and build your community around. And that's really, I mean, and that's for everybody. Like, just build a community and love the people that show up. Like, you know how many years I streamed for one or two people? But I loved it because those same people would show up day in and day out. Why? They have Netflix they could watch. They have HBO they could watch. They have a million other streamers, yet they decide to come spend time with me. And you love that community from the very beginning, and amazing things happen, And so don't ever sell yourself short, and it's just poison to compare yourself to somebody else, because everybody's from different circumstances. You can't. You just put your head down and do your work, and don't worry about what the other guy's doing. That's
you hear that, kids? You hear that?
Well, yeah, really, like, because there's so many reasons that we can give to why we shouldn't do something, right? And I mean, I work my tail off for this stuff, but I love it. I love it. Like, what's funny is I work like, I have a 40-hour-a-week job, and then I probably work close to another 40 doing my content, and I would work another 80 doing content just to not have to do the 40. You know what I'm saying? Like I would spend, but because it doesn't feel like work. It's just something I love. There's so much passion there that I don't, it's not like I wake up on Monday and go, oh man, I'm going to have to stream this afternoon. It's like, okay, can it be afternoon yet? You know what I mean? Like, can it be Tuesday night so we can podcast again? I just love it. I love it. And so, and it, again, it goes back to the same thing we were talking with Instagram. If you love it, you're not going to worry about the numbers. You're not going to worry about being compared to somebody else, because you're doing it for the love of the game, right? And that's when success can come or go or whatever. You just love it, and you'll have a lot more fun along the way versus looking like, if you always look at numbers and you always like it, you'll just frustrate yourself.
Well, that's the point you hit on so well, especially with Instagram. I mean, you will lose, I'd say on average, you're looking at 10 followers a day, maybe, once you start getting into bigger numbers. The reason that is because Instagram I'd like to hope part of the reason of that, Instagram goes through and deletes bots. They delete them regularly. So you're going to get a lot of bots following you. So please don't be disheartened when they go. And again, don't focus on the number, just like Josh is saying, because that shouldn't be what you're there for. You should be there to share your content. And yeah.
Yeah, put out the best content you can, right? That's what it's about. So, NintenJoe, tell us where we can find you, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks, Josh. So you can find me on Instagram at NintenJoe98. Drop me a message, jump on the story, and yeah, thanks so much for letting me be a part of your world, Josh.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Absolutely. This was, like you said, I'm like, I kind of just fly by the seat of my pants. Like, like, okay, hey, you want to do a podcast? When works for you? today, perfect. Let's do it, you know? So, and that's how I want to do these things. So guys, reach out to me, right? Like I want to start getting as many people scheduled for interviews as possible. If you know, you've got an Instagram, you've got YouTube that you're working towards, like, you know, I want you to reach out. I'm not gonna be able to say yes to everybody, I know, because there's a lot of people that listen and everything like that, but I want to start getting a schedule going so that, like, we can fill up this time getting to know you guys, getting to hear these stories of you growing up with Nintendo. So please reach out. My DMs are open on Twitter. You can DM me on Instagram. It'd be awesome. So if you want to follow me, guys, it's N64Josh everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, even with the pictures of cats. That's all Facebook's good for anymore, it seems like. We have a Facebook group. If you go to n64josh.com/Facebook group, you can hang out there. We've got a growing group over there. The Discord, another great place to come hang out. n64josh.com/Discord. If you want to get yourself a free book from Audible, go to audibletrial.com/NPC. So many good books to choose from. Go check, you know, Console Wars, Ready Player One, books I cannot recommend enough. Go check them out. The Chair I'm Sitting In from OP Seat. Go to n64josh.com/OP Seat. You'll automatically save $10 at checkout. And if you want to get an extra podcast, go to patreon.com/n64josh. Just $1. And that dollar goes a long way. So thank you guys so much. Everybody that supports me already, I greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right. So if you have a second, you want to rate and review on iTunes, let me know. Do you like these interview shows? Are you stoked that we're going to have so much more podcasts going out? Let me know. I had somebody tweet at me yesterday, like, how do you already have 2 in one day? What is going on here? You know, so, you know, but that's what I want to do. I just want to get, I told Joe I'm doing more. He's like, what do you say? You're a mailman, right? And so,
yeah, exactly,
like, he's like, he eats content up.
Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye now.